Well, let's go into move. Let's go into move.
Let's go into move.
Let's check game number 2, actually, while we go into that move. Picks and bans coming your way now, guys.
Oh, they just missed my sweet dance move. I did this like...
Was that what that was?
Yes.
I thought you just had like a nervous tick, or there was like an incon, kind of twitch going on.
No, I did like this like wave thing with my body. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was fine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. Ares banned out one more time by denial. No, Ares, no aggressive supports for not Cabom, rather, Aror. It's so easy to get that dual lane mixed up a little bit with how aggressive Aror is. Isis, again, banned out by Cognitive Gaming. A little bit of insight if you're newer to the scene. That might be news to you. But Macetodaface has been synonymous with Isis for a long time. Isis was a character that struggled to really find herself on the forefront of the meta, except for 2 players. In North America, it was Macetodaface, and in Europe, it was Sayo, ex-mid laner for Myrmidons. So 2 players really brought him in, and now that Isis is prominent, well, you want to keep them out of those hands even more so. Yana spanned out this time by Cognitive since they're not first pick. Denial opting for Serqet.
Yeah, first pick Serqet. I mean, she's obviously good. She's obviously worthy of a first pick. That's not where I'm going with this. Where I'm going with this is that first picking a high-impact jungler for your jungler that has played now 3 total games of professional Smite in the last 3 months.
Right.
You're putting a lot of pressure.
And Serqet is a high execution god. With Thor, I have no problem with it. Like you said, baby's first jungler, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what you learn.
Yeah,
you learn on Thor.
There's a lot of intricacy in Thor, kid. I'm not trying to downplay it. I am trying to upplay the intricacy of Serqet's.
Well, the difference between a top 1% of 1% execution Thor comes down to a lot of animation canceling and getting like an extra 100 damage out of your CC chain. You're talking like a huge difference on a Serqet, right? And I think that's where you're getting there, right? You can eke a little bit more out of Thor's kit by playing it exceptionally well, but Serqet simply just doesn't work unless you play her very well.
I think Serqet's one of the hardest to play gods in our game.
Well, and a lot of that comes down to her hit chain has that. It's like a long warm up on the first hit, and you need one in hand to really maximize everything on the kit,
and you
right?
can't do it too soon because you want 2 stacks.
That's
of the
right.
poison.
You need 2 stacks of your poison. Only 2 abilities apply the poison. I mean, it becomes a very, very complicated.
A lot of times you can't. A lot of times it's not a good plan to hit with both ticks of the Cobra's Kiss, because then 1 tick of the Cobra's Kiss, the enemy runs towards you. 2 of them, if you hit the other opponent, they'll run towards each other, and you're not as in a good position. So
not to mention your ultimate also pushes them away from you when you need to confirm the in hand.
Yeah.
The kit doesn't have a lot of like internal synergy in the way the abilities work. It does, however, all kind of come together with the passive, right? And
huge damage.
Imagine if she didn't kick you away, how easy it would be for Serqet to just explode everybody. But let's talk about the picks and bans now. Serqet, Athena, and Bay going to be drafted on the side of Denial Cognitive. Wow, okay, Naja into Poseidon, the old wombo combo there.
I am not convinced this is a djpernicus Naja.
Soloing? Oh, it's Aror. It's
Either
definitely Aror.
solo or Aror.
Yeah, it's definitely Aror.
With the Sun Wukong.
And then they're going to draft, Khepri. But, so for those of you who don't know, Aror is kind of prominently figured in the Smite competitive scene as one of the, probably the best assassin-based support player in the world.
Aror made his name on
Fenrir.
not just in professional, but also in ranked. Aror made a name for himself in ranked, playing support Fenrir, and then brought it to the Pro League and won with it.
I actually thought his name was Aror based on only playing Fenrir.
Like Roar?
Like Roar, yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I used to see him in ranked all the time, and he would destroy me, and I'd be mad. And Yeezus is going to be locked in as well here on the side of Cognitive Gaming. So that's Poseidon, Wukong, Naja, and Hu Yi. Looking for spicy picks, you got them.
Absolutely love the Ho Yi pick. A lot of people with the recent change to Ho Yi think that he's one of the best hunters. So the recent change lowered the cooldown on Ricochet, which means now with a single mark of the Crow, you can now stun twice. Ricochet, you can get 2 ricochets off in 1 single mark of the Crow. So Ho Yi really able to impact the game a little bit more than he was before.
He's also got like a reasonable amount of lane clear now with the Ricochet cooldown being low enough.
And also, not to mention, not to forget, 30% to 60% scaling on that jump.
On the
so
lead,
not exactly an ability that you are going to initiate with, but if you're trying to clean up that kill, if you need just a little bit more damage, that jump really going to clean it up.
Hu Yi. We'll see. Yeah, there's the gap.
Yeah, we'll see the jungle Naja. Can you tell I'm disappointed, Bart?
Well,
it could
Naja Hu Yi is pushing it.
What'd you say?
Naja Hu Yi is pushing it.
A little bit. If anything, I mean, it's Naja goes up, comes down, and now you're stuck in the Ho Yi ult.
Yeah, but like the thing is that Naja doesn't bring really anything to the table that Geb doesn't in that scenario, right? Like all you're really talking about is the fact that Sash Toss can set up the mark into Ricochet stun,
Right,
right?
yeah.
And Knockup does that,
Yeah.
and so does Cataclysm does percent damage, and Geb Shield's really good, and Naja's really unreliable. On and on and on and on we go.
Well, djpernicus throwing us for a loop. A lot of what we normally see is tanky, supportish characters in the jungle, and then the odd Serqet. This time we get the odd Naja coming out for djpernicus.
Not that odd, kind of odd, fairly odd.
A little bit.
No invade this time around. Not feeling it. His cognitive wasn't very successful in the last game either, so I guess not a huge surprise there.
Not quite. Denial, this time not going for the hog start. So, no shenanigans coming out from the support. Just standard boots.
Now here's a little curious. Double beads opening.
Yes. Naja.
Right.
That's what Naja does. Naja's kit largely can be countered by CSC immunity. In fact,
but this also means that there's no red pot start on Sikandara.
No. No. Which is totally fine. Sikandara, we'll likely not see the early fights coming out from Serqet.
Yeah,
which,
and I would expect him to fall behind, actually, in gold farm there, given that.
And honestly, for Serqet, that's no problem. Serqet doesn't really need to be aggressive early. She can, but Serqet largely benefits from, later on getting that damage on.
Well, we didn't talk too much about BronxBombers' Apollo pick here. We are kind of waxing philosophical about Naja, but it's the Apollo Athena lane here versus Geb and Hu Yi. Obviously, very global for Denial. Oof. Value ring toss there, and a ton of damage going to go on to Sikandara.
Yeah, early game pressure coming out from Naja. That is the name of the game when it comes to this character. We've seen it a lot recently. Really not a super odd pick these days, at least in the jungle. Oh, you able to jump away? No problem.
Yeah, the lane advantage going the way of Denial. No surprise there. A lot of wave clear between the Athena and the Apollo. You saw Shadowq also, dashing through, throwing the reach back, really maximizing damage output quite nicely.
Here in the soul lane, we've got Bellona versus Sun Wukong.
Also, Hu Yi's going to get crushed by Apollo in this lane. Let's let's not make any mistake about that, right? The Devo's Gloves into Death Toll, that bonus attack speed onto the Apollo where Hu Yi's already really far behind.
Nice play.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But yeah, as you just saw there, demonstrated in the soul lane, Meerkat, he's played Sun Wukong before. In fact, he played it last game. But yeah, Ox form, good enough to stop Bludgeon. And probably Bellona's biggest weakness is that Bludgeon is maybe the most telegraphed ability in the entire game.
It's actually very good that it's not knock-up immune, just because of the execution of that Sun Wukong ability. 72 transformations for those of you that haven't played Sun Wukong. Essentially, the way you pick your animals is the way you aim. Hold that thought. Meerkat in some trouble. Couple more basics.
Oh, yep, bye-bye. Wow, wrecked. I mean,
Yeah, that
just
was
wrecked.
just wrecked.
Yeah,
Just wrecked.
flat out wrecked. I mean, that's it.
Basically what
he
it
got
was.
soloed by Bellona. And I mean, Osiris is the way better matchup for the Osiris, right? Like, Bellona's not better than Sun.
Oh, right.
Osiris is better than Sun Wukong matchup than the Bellona Sun Wukong matchup, but Bellona does do a lot more damage.
Yeah, and this is, the game isn't always just on paper tier lists, right? It comes down to individual play, individual skill, and different scenarios.
Well, let's talk. I mean, yeah, tier lists are kind of a strange thing, right? Because there's two major schools of thought when it comes to a tier list. There's the I know a lot about the game and here's what I say each character falls, and then there's the real here is their competition performance tier lists.
Right.
And those tend to be fairly similar as long as the person giving you the tier list is well informed. But Sun Wukong is probably quite a bit higher tier than Bellona.
Yeah.
As Bellona's win rate probably is not so great as she was spam picked over and over and over again.
Coming out from Cabom,
This is going to be your first blood here. And Aror with that big beefy Geb in hand, 35 damage of secured kill going the way of Max Jackson.
Cog able to answer quickly to Denial's first blood over there in the soul lane. So 1-1 are the kills, and the teams are separated by about 200 gold now. Not too much, basically a tie.
So what I'm getting at here is that, for example, a very good explanation of that is that looking at Naja. Naja is probably, from a win-loss, pick ban rate, and damage output standpoint, quite a very high-tier character. However, I think that if you were to look at it from an empirical standpoint, I don't think anybody would just outright say confidently that Naja is A tier or higher, right? But based on competition results, is factors in quite nicely there. And there's the old Naja Windfire Wheels into Kraken combination. Best gets quite low here and will go down to that Sikandara ultimate. Poison does not spread, thankfully.
Look at Shadowq.
Shadowq, yeah, 1 HP.
Just the Pon luck in full effect. When it comes to the tier list, I mean, I agree. I generally view tier lists. They're interesting. They are sort of the rules that are meant to be broken. Because again, Smite is not played in a vacuum. Is
oh boy,
in a
Whalrus.
little bit of trouble. Big rotation over here on the right-hand side. Luckily for Denial, they do have that global Athena ultimate. Here comes Meerkat. No ultimate out of Naja, so no Windfire Wheels available. Whalrus shuts down Meerkat.
Somehow Denial comes out ahead there. 4-man rotation into a single target. Denial comes right back and takes that kill away again. 3-1 now in their favor, and Whalrus is going to be way ahead of Meerkat. And this is an interesting and usually a pretty pivotal turning point for a team, is when their solo laner gets behind, and this is actually why Divios was removed from TSM, is that when you have a player that thinks they're going to have a big impact on the game, and they get behind, how do they handle that in comms, right? I would say the average player and most people on the planet would start complaining, saying, I'm getting camped, and come save me, bail me out of this, let me get back ahead so I can help you guys win the game.
Yeah.
Some players don't, right? That was really the first thing we heard out of TSM was Bickham didn't complain when he got camped. Wow, this is so different.
Yeah.
So,
and again,
how is Meerkat, right? Like, how is Meerkat right now in the comms? Does he still have his head in the game after getting soloed and then blown up what seemed to be an easy gank on the Whalrus?
Well, he's not complaining about Mystical Mail. Not quite online yet.
At least there's that.
But Whalrus now taking some poke on the side of Meerkat. And again, it's very interesting. That is a huge point, as you said. One of the bigger names in Smite removed from a team because of that, and it has nothing to do with the numbers of the game. Smite is not played in a vacuum, so this Sun Wukong Bellona matchup should, in theory, go the way of Sun Wukong, right? But there's so many other variables, player skill, scenarios, right? Team
latency.
Presence. Sure, latency.
Yeah, I mean,
right? It all matters. So
but we don't know. He could have just had a micro disconnect there, and that's why he died to Bellona in the first blood.
Or his
or he overextended and died.
Right? Like
his dog was barking at the door, and he had to go check on. I mean, you never really know.
Yeah, anything can happen. Which is so like tier lists. All right, so those don't impact the tier list, but tier lists are sort of rules to be broken.
Not just really good unless you're getting pizza delivery.
And if that's the case, well then she's D+. Yeah. But the idea is, these are the sets. There are definitely characters that feel better than others, that are better than others. But that doesn't mean that the quote-unquote bad characters can't be used, as you see Naja performing so well.
Gebshield doing just so much in this game so far. But Cogna is still down a couple of kills.
That might be it for No, he'll be good.
Quite close still, though, in the gold department is this one. Athena ultimate. Oh, we're going to go... Where are we going? Oh, there we are. It's Best getting popped by Mace to the face there. One more meteor going to do it. Aurora not even going to bother throwing it the shockwave for a little bit of extra damage. He doesn't have Talaria boots anyway, so why bother? Funny, that's been a fun item, right? Talaria boots was like, it came out. It was like, oh my god, game broken, right, for the pro levels.
Oh, yeah.
And then it got a pretty modest adjustment, right? Still like, item way too good, what are you guys doing? And then never purchased again.
One of my favorite moments of Talaria boots. So Talaria boots, they give you a bonus depending on how many people you hit. So DM Brandon, gloves at the beginning. Again, Whalrus is in a little bit of trouble this time. Meerkat trying to turn it around.
Oh, Naja got popped there.
Just a little bit of poke. I don't think anybody's.
Windfire Wheels is down. There's no kill here.
Yeah. So Brandon's strategy in ranked was just level 1, run to the enemy jungle, hit everybody, and run away. And now I'm level 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Smoked Wolfie with it one time, and Wolfie put out this YouTube video just analyzing, I guess.
I saw that where like his team's running away from him and all that. That was funny.
Just breaking it down. Some of the more hilarious content to really come out of the scene and
competitive online. Really, your leader in Smite media.
You can still find it. Just search 2032.
Yeah.
Ultimate out of Sikandara onto the support player. Aurora ticking down, but Windfire Wheels ticking up. Down. No Kraken. Ring, not enough. Aror finds himself safely between Tier 1 and Tier 2, but here comes Apollo.
Whoa, wait, what? You what, mate?
There goes Apollo. I mean, he didn't lose anything for it, right?
Yeah, I think he wanted the Geb, but then was like, oh, damn Geb shield. Oops.
Well, where's his... Nope, he had tons of mana.
Oh, no, he had plenty of time to get back there, but he would have died between the Tier 1 and the Tier 2. Geb still had Geb shield. It was a clear bait from Aurora there, and BronxBombers makes probably the more informed play to not try to fight too much. Oh, Meerkat's dead. Oh boy.
Now he's got the ult up in the sky. No ultimate from the Serqet, so he can heal up just a little bit. Meerkat, does he have the animals? That's the question.
He doesn't have for 5 seconds, but he's away. Get shield's enough. Yeah, I thought Serqet ultimate. Oh wait, no, dead. Down you go. Nicely played.
Out from Shadowq. So
Kraken, that's enough. That's a kill onto the Serqet. Pern only gets 1 bounce off that ring toss as the split came out effectively there from Whalrus. Pern, Sash on the mark. This should be a kill. There is no ultimate available. Cataclysm, Whirlpool, Whirlpool, Whirlpool.
One more hit, that'll do it, but can he get it? Looking for the last basic.
All right, there we go.
And it's TheBest with the trident over the top. Here comes the bombs from Macetodaface. Wow, big flame wave, and that'll help bring TheBest down. Fire beats water this time around, and djpernicus cleans up a 4th kill.
What happened there?
Gaming.
That was bizarre. It took them 4 times longer than it should have to kill Whalrus. And then Mace rotates over. It's like, oh, Agni's here now. The bombs start raining down. They do basically no damage.
But the flame wave does.
The flame wave crushes. And then Pern gets another kill.
I mean,
madness.
What can you do?
Madness.
2 kills taken out in that exchange and 4 kills total on the side of Cognitive after DJ cleans up that last one. And, you know, tough stuff. All in all, 500 gold, 700 gold in the way of Denial. Still very, very close game.
These 2 teams are very evenly matched.
I agree. And, like, this is why I was very excited to see Cognitive Denial. I'm very excited to see Denial elevate. I think that it's very easy to write off some of the lower ranked teams in the region, but when they face up against each other, you're still getting greeted with great smite.
Well, one way that is kind of maybe a more accurate way to kind of talk about the relative strength of teams. Hold that thought though, as we do have the Naja ultimate coming out. It's about 420 damage coming out. No follow up though. Best he'll Kraken right on top of himself. It doesn't matter. Sikandara got a little bit antsy there. I think went in a bit early and took some of the damage out of that Kraken as well. The Suns have been dropped by Cabom, and that will be enough to secure the kill onto the Serqet. Now Shadowq, does he have another dash available? No, he's 10 seconds away. That's going to be all she wrote for the support there, and this should be a Gold Fury conversion as well from Cognitive on the back of that. BronxBombers zoned away. He can't fight here. No way. Naja with a speed buff will be able to walk him down. He's forced Serenade and throw out a bit of burst.
Cabom gets his first kill for the match. That's important. DJ, probably not the character they want to be zoning here.
This is free. Let's take a look on the right side, though, where it's Bellona and some Wukong battling out over this blue buff. And this is, I mean, that Gold Fury seems pretty confirmed, I'd say. And yeah, they'll fight away there. Gold Fury does go down, and the follow-up is enough. Macetodaface does get credited for that kill onto Naja, so pretty standard there. I mean, basically went down to how you would expect. They'll give up 1 kill in exchange for the secure. Pern running interference there, as Pern does so often. But back to the idea about relative strength of teams. One way to really think about it is once again back to the tier discussion, but you kind of have these tiers of teams, right? And you look at teams like Elevate, right? Very clearly seems to be a tier 3 team or tier 2 team maybe, where Denial kind of sits on the in between there. Some Wukong going to be fine for now. Denial kind of fluctuates there. Cognitive seems to be very squarely with enemy, a tier 2 team.
Cognitive, sure. I think they're on their way up.
And on their way up, and then you have the tier 1 teams that are in the top 3 and 4 right now in North America, right? And then you look at a situation where you had Epsilon in the Challengers Cup couple, at the beginning of the season, and you're going, that looks like a tier 1 team playing in the Challenge Cup, right? So it gives you a little bit of that vocabulary to talk about them without saying, oh, they're the 6th best or 7th best team in North America. It's really that they're not on the same tier as a premier North American team right now. And yeah, I mean, it looks like it's kind of like, is Denial a tier 3 team? Is it them in Elevate? Are they actually demonstrably behind Cognitive? We're kind of finding out here. Cog has had their hands full more or less, but is that really what's going on here, right? Is it Cognitive's inability to really secure and make the right decisions all the time?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, I'm just
right. Yeah, it is.
I'm going to stop you right
The hypothetical is out there, but yes, it is. I mean, that's what it is, right? The difference between Cognitive and, say, the 4th place team right now in North America, an enemy even, right, is decision making.
Sure. And I mean, we spoke to Cognitive a couple of games ago, and DJ said it out. He's look, sometimes we just make mistakes, and that's
of course. And when you look at Cog, right, the reason for that is that, in my opinion, right, is that you have Best, not a shot caller. Pern, maybe a shot caller, but really not the style of jungler that is calling his own shots, right? He's setting up for the enemy, for the team. Meerkat's a new player. Cabom's a relatively new player. And Aror, maybe it's him, right? Usually the supports are the more talkative ones, but they don't have that kind of, it seems like, defined tenured shot caller that's helping them make the right decision always.
And I think that'll come with time, honestly, Mark. As we see BronxBombers fall one more time to Cabom.
Nicely placed ultimate there, Cabom.
Could not, exactly. The ult right there. So that's interesting. Ult didn't miss. Ult zoned.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
you can't,
Force it back.
You die by my ult, or you die by my hand, take your pick.
And then you look over a denial, right, and it's a little bit different, right? Their problem is execution. They clearly understand the strategy of the game. Shadowq, one of the premier kind of analytical minds in Smite. Kraken gonna come out here with a ring toss. Just once again, so much value out of that ring toss. It does a ton of damage. Windfire Wheel is gonna be popped right away onto Sikandara. Do they have the follow-up into the Whirlpool, but she's gonna beads it and zigzag away. But Mace charging forward. The Athena ultimate gonna coming out as well. Sikandara ultimate used by Serqet. Down will fall. Mace to the face trying, I'm sorry, will fall best to Mace to the face, trying to kind of stay on the outside of that fight. Not gonna find anything. Pern, it's just a matter of time, and down he will fall as well. Denial answers back 10-7 now at 15 minutes. This game's still exceptionally close. Just a few hundred gold separating the teams at nearly 35K net worth.
Now, going back to what you were talking about, look to game one. Cognitive Gaming is a team that, again, we keep stressing, relatively new. This team, it's week number 8 here in the fall split. Week number 1, their first game was the first time this team played a game of Smite together. They didn't scrim before that. They didn't practice before that. So we're seeing right in front of your eyes sort of the coalesce, the way this team sort of matures. And what you were talking about, decision-making and shot calling, that's not the first thing that comes, right? That's much, much later.
Right.
And you'll see, if you get a chance to watch the game 1 VOD and you take a look at the graphs, they go in Cog's favor, and then you see a big U. It's a mistake, and they make up for it. And then it goes in Cog's favor, and another U. They make a mistake, and they make up for it. They wind up winning the game. And when they go up against higher-end teams, occasionally Cognitive will come out and play everything perfect, and those are the games that they, quote-unquote, steal a win from a top-tier team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there that Cognitive, it's when everything goes in their favor from a decision-making process, they take games off of top teams because execution-wise, they're really quite good.
I think Cog winds up beating themselves more than they get beat.
Whalrus, he's going to ult away here. Sash Toss should be available from Pern if he can secure it. Oh,
beautiful.
My God, what a
love that
play.
Love the catch. djpernicus going to clean up this kill one more time.
And that's what we're talking about, right? Like, really, really great individual Smite players and really coming together as a team. And let's talk about, back to game 1 again, that the bait, right? The She Blanca bait onto the Cupid with the Athena ultimate, right? That's a great tactical play.
Oh, yeah.
Strategically, not as much there. Tactics-wise, they've got it pretty well covered, and COG is going to be a really dangerous team once they get it all together. Yep. You expect them to be, really threatening those Tier 1 teams in a meaningful way here at the LAN. I think that they turned some heads at the COG Invitational.
I mean, wow, they turned. I mean, I was talking to the pro. They turned my head.
Yeah.
A lot of the players there as well. I mean,
Cabom's really the one that I think I'm most impressed with so far this split.
Yeah.
Cabom's a player that's been in and out of the pro circuit, never really on a really strong competitive team. But here, I mean, we just don't see Cabom lose his lane often.
Yeah.
Like, badly often. Which is usually not something that most bottom half teams enjoy, right? Often it falls apart for everybody at some point, but Cabom's had pretty steady performance so far this split, and I think that's a really good sign for Cognitive here. But Denial, in the same right, their issue is really more around consistency in lineup and play. Right, Xing was a very streaky player, and now they've kind of changed their lineup a few times this split. I think they just never really had a good foot to stand on so far.
Exactly, swapping out their jungler, and I mean, Whalrus really has yet to really find an identity, it's interesting because that's not calling him bad. Whalrus he's fine. He's done his job in a lot of these wins, and in the losses he's lost just as much as the rest of his teammates. But he hasn't really defined a role for himself, I think, in the grand scheme of things in North America.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair enough.
So we see some of the positives, we see some of the negatives, but really no niche has really been sort of dug by Denial's sort of squad. We know what to expect out of, the brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it's probably a toss-up between him and Mace the Face as the best 2 players on this team.
Whalrus and Mace?
Yeah, I think Shadowq is probably the most valuable player to plug into another team, just with supports are valuable, especially one with that much experience and that much game knowledge.
That's interesting. You're clearly on a thought. Difference between valuable and the other superlative.
Whatever the other adjective was. Fight breaking out of here. Shadowq finds himself in a bit of trouble. Getting smacked around by Meerkat, but he will be able to peel for himself, dashing away. but surging forward is Pern. Not going to find anything just yet. Still hunting, still hunting.
So deep.
Wow, they're going to blow a Sun Wukong ultimate. They're diving here. They really want these kills badly. They want to secure a Gold Fury. Agni bombs over the top. That's going to take care of Meerkat. Meerkat making not a great choice there to go in. The call a little bit off. He finds himself quite low. He's going to go down to Serqet here any moment. Ultimate going to be used. He's going to pop, but not in the middle of all his teammates. Luckily for him, a nice Kraken's going to prevent the reinitiation now. BronxBombers with the Athena ultimate, but he won't be able to close the distance and get much out of it. But here comes Shadowq taunt onto 2. Ring bouncing around to the backside. BronxBombers getting quite low. Aurora, he's going to shield himself, and no one checked
Look at the
Pern.
flank.
Pern, oh, just barely missing that sash toss to find it, but Whalrus has ported into a ward now, and he will disrupt any further attempts at initiation. In the backside, you see Bronx and Pern going back and forth now, but Pern realizes he has to go back and peel for Aurora. One more ring toss should set up a kill, but Macetodaface going to dash forward, but blinking away is Aurora, and now it's the Pern show. Can he get anything out of this? Looking for the enhance. Not now. Macetodaface finds himself in trouble. The burst heal coming out from the steroid, but in comes old Apollo, and Apollo going to be able to get quite a bit done here. He'll zone the rest of the team out, force them back, and down will go Pern.
Again, cognitive gaming.
Bad choices.
Just it was an, I won't call the strategy poor, right? Like diving that tier 2, you get a bunch of kills, you go for the Gold Fury, but they wind up beating themselves.
Well, here's what happened.
They bite off more than they can chew.
They ult in with Sun Wukong. Decoy gets instantly erased because of the Agni range stun, and then he's just eating tower shots and he dies. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what happened that fight. And then they were overextended and they tried to get out, and it didn't happen.
Cognitive just bit off more than they could chew, wound up giving the gold. Well, I don't know if they give the Gold Fury here, because they do have a Kraken still.
Gold Fury, 4K now, reset by denial. Backside, Meerkat going to try to disrupt. He will be successful for now. Back up to the ultimate he goes. Summer Cloud used, Decoy moving forward, doing what it can as well, which is enough to push them off the Gold Fury. But it looks like the fight's not over just yet. Wanting to reinitiate is denial. Turning the corner now with Shadowq. Dash in. Taunt onto all 3 of them. Into the shield wall. Into the Bellona ultimate. Bang. And into basically everything else that they have on the board. Kraken's going to be used there, but it's too little too late. Down will fall Aurora as well, and that's a nice and easy 2 kills for denial. And with Kraken used there, that means that this Gold Fury is basically uncontested unless Pern can somehow shut this one down. He's going to get taunted out, dash through, taunted back. And then he'll go up into the sky, but this is a kill. Pern's gonna have a hard time with this one, dashing out, but down he goes. Ring still bouncing. It's enough to disrupt Gold Fury for now, but he'll pay with it for his life, as Pern so often does.
Sikandara picks up another kill on to the best. Sikandara's play there, Aurora escaping the catch with the ultimate. Quick thinking, quick play. Love it. A lot of times you want to save your ultimate for a good situation. Geb on the last limb of his life doesn't exactly read that way, but perfect positioning there. Cabom drops the ult. That will disrupt not at all. All denial has to do is really shift themselves by just a couple of inches, and in doing so, the Hunter battle.
Cabom was close there. I mean, he was setting up for the triple bounce there, trying to get him into the choke, but Audacity rips through him too fast. Almost got the setup there to Cabom, but not going to get it just yet. And they'll drop 3 and a Gold Fury here. Denial going to get there first. And really the first real lead of the game here.
That's a swing. Look at that. Yeah. That is a direct elevator.
Talking about the 20-minute mark, it's just been all denial.
35.
Denial a ton of kills, but not a lot of objectives, and not a lot of anything really secured on the back of it there. That's the first time they'll actually be ahead. Strange game so far, this one. But yeah, so to rewind all the way back to what we were talking about before the Gold Fury aggression started, the difference between kind of the best or most skilled player and the most valuable players on the team.
Yeah.
I think that there are better. Okay, let's think about it this way, right? If the team has a set of attributes and the players are all on a scale of 1 to 10, right? The most skilled player is going to be the highest number on the team, right? But the value, I think, comes down to how many people are playing in that role at your level, and what else do you bring to the table. And for me, you know,
I see what
supports
you're saying.
are.
I see what you're saying.
Supports are very valuable. A good duo lane is very valuable. Support's probably the hardest role to play in the game.
So not necessarily valuable to the team, but valuable to the
If you were to build, so I would say
whole.
the most valuable players, if I'm going to build a new team and I have to take someone from Denial, who am I taking, right?
Of course.
I'm going to build a team around Shadowq before I build a team around anyone else on this roster.
Despite
him not being the best player on the team, perhaps.
Right, okay.
That's who you want, right? If you have to take one of them, that's who you'd want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you know what? I might agree with that. I think it's easy to...
Maybe that's support bias, because I'd probably take Aurora also. I think supports are just really valuable overall.
I agree. I honestly, yeah, I might go djpernicus on the side of Cognitive.
Yeah, that's a little more of a toss-up there, I'd say.
But I'm with you on Denial.
Same thing with, like, it's kind of Mace or Shadowq, but Shadowq edges it out for me because of game knowledge overall. And Mace is also an extremely well-versed and analytical player, but
There's a lot of innovation that comes out of the camp of Shadowq.
That's right, yeah.
I mean,
There's
small things. I mean, reinforced greaves are now pretty useful. Oh, ultimate.
Karn takes a ton of damage. Kraken going to be successful there, but just to zone. Best, he's going to fall as well. Trying to find the solo is BronxBombers as well, but Hu ultimate going to zone him out as well for the moment. Mid lane battle seems to be over. Poseidon running away with a Geb shield. Oh, no, Best. He's maybe found himself a bit overextended. No, I'm sorry, that's Meerkat. And up in the Somersault Cloud he goes. That was not Poseidon. And he'll be just fine. But it's not before the tower goes down. Fun fact, in the Somersault Cloud, the skill mail does still tick. Feeding down a little bit on those minions. Shadowq gets the taunt out under Aror, but there's not a real dedication to a single target here, as Meerkat stuns out Sikandara, the only real damage dealer remaining as Macetodaface's cooldowns were not available. But now they've turned their attention to the tier 2, where Apollo's all the way up there, and no, it's going to be the mass recall from Denial. They've had enough.
This is how you use Elite. The game was very close before, and it was really tough to really make something happen. We talked a lot. I mean, 17 kills, now 18. 17 kills before is when we brought up the fact that Denial had a lot of kills but wasn't doing anything with them. Well, that's because they got a bunch of kills and 700 gold in the lead. They get a bunch of kills and 1,200 gold in the lead. What are you going to do with that? When you have a big swing like 35, 4,000 gold, now you can do something with that part. And that's what we're seeing here. Denial, no hesitation, goes right down the middle lane, takes out a tier 1 right away. Hunter v Hunter do the same thing on the left-hand side. So Denial waiting for the opportunity where they're numerically ahead. They go ahead and push the buttons.
Well, I was just going to disarm Aurora there, just for fun.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Those Geb in hands. He did get a kill with it earlier. In fact, First Blood went as well.
Yep, First Blood went to a Geb in hand. We saw remember the Gold Fury early on in the season? With the Geb in hand?
Oh, Cabom gets that kill on the BronxBombers.
Hunter v Hunter. Such an exciting duel lane.
That's just BronxBombers. He just kind of failed himself. He won the last few duels there. And, you know, Cabom got the better of him this time. That's okay.
Well,
He'll lose a lot of towers, though. It's going to force Agni rotation to the left side here. And the second that you see that Agni is kind of seen, I would expect to see Cog get really aggressive. So they know now that Agni's all the way over here. He doesn't really have any way to get to the right side of the map quickly. But no, they're going to try to respond by rotating left here. Curious from Cog. I think most teams go pressure tier 2 there, I'd say.
With the Sikandara rotation, though, Cognitive forced to play a little bit more defensively. And halfway in their rotation, they'll stop in the mid lane, pick the tower, drive through.
Okay, yeah, they'll take that tier 1. That's fine. They get something out of it is the important part there. Gold Fury coming back up here shortly, about 15 seconds away for her. Blink forward from Aurora finds 2. Macetodaface immediately going to beat that one. Shadowq, he's marked. He's taunted as well, but able to retreat out of there for now. Bombs sending out the backline. Cabom about 50% HP, trying to move in as the Hu Yi, but you can see Denial. They are not really too keen on taking this fight, really trying to dodge for now. Shadowq's going to try to re-engage, it appears, with his Athena. In the meantime, Best does get taken out by BronxBombers as he tries to make his way out of the fight to the west.
Look at that.
Down will go Pern as well. Bronx with a double kill now, and it's a full-on retreat from Cognitive, and it's a full-strength Denial making their way now down the mid lane. They also have a 2-shot tier 1 on the right side they can clean up after taking this tier 2. So it's going to be a nice income burst for the blue team here in Denial. But like we said, I mean, a 1-1 here is like they kind of stay alive, but they don't really improve themselves. It's not what they were looking for, but it's certainly better than an 0-2.
Yeah.
But this one not over just yet. 27 minutes in, probably about the standard game length here in Smite, so this one going to go a little bit late again. Income, quite low, though, for this far in the game, I'd say.
Even with this many kills, Denial doubling the kills of Cog, 20 to 10. And with that extra Gold Fury, puts themselves up to 64,000 gold. Total lead, 71K, or 7,100 rather. 71K.
71K would be pretty nice.
Largely.
Yeah.
I mean, the game would be, everyone AFK and Denial with 100,000 gold because passive gold tick, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if you can. It's probably just like
70,
cheat to add the gold to make it work. Which who even knows that shows up on the graphs?
That'd be interesting.
I don't even know. But luckily none of these players are GMs, so we won't ever have to find out.
That is a good thing. That is a very good thing. I've seen players with GM accounts play in show matches, Bart. I've seen what they do, Bart.
I made myself invulnerable one time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's
You were just this invincible Anubis going around being Anubis. And I'm pretty sure, actually I'm positive, I can't recall, but I know you said top dog at least once.
Probably, yeah. You also sash tossed a minion that game. A juggle camp, in fact.
I did. And
that doesn't work.
It doesn't. I could maintain.
I think that's when you really turn the corner to just being a meme. That was it, right? That was where it all ended for you.
I don't think so. I still don't think that I am a meme. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Despite what Kelly said.
But isn't "I'm not a meme" the actual meme?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's all just part
It's all
of the same
come into
game.
one now. Yeah, it's part and parcel.
Right-hand side to now.
Okay, all right, Cog. Cog's going to try to make the play here. They're going to let's look at the left side, guys. Left side is where the action's about to happen. And no, sniffed out by BronxBombers. So a huge rotation comes out from Cog. Still looking forward is Najah. He's going to find the initiation onto Apollo on the left side here. Nope, Serenade and Beads. Bye-bye. And so a huge investment from Cognitive to take 2 players to the left side of the map here is not going to come to fruition, and they're going to concede this tier 2 to Denial now as they're 4 strong. No way they can really effectively defend this. But still, no Hunter over here from Cognitive for that matter. I'm sorry, for Denial for that matter. So they're not going to have the fastest tower kill. Auror's going to move forward, and they're going to try to fight this with 3 because why not? Hell, they're going to stall him out. And Najah's going to get the angle here, but oh, maybe too little, too late. Huyi's going to rotate in. It's going to be a 5v4. Apollo still split pushing, but not very quickly at that. He's not actually aggressing into the tier 2, and he's going to now try to rotate. Yeah, sloppy is what we're going to call that.
The tower is fine. Look how little damage was done to that tier 2.
Apollo now is going to ult across as they moved out of their tower range. He's going to come in with about a 50% mana on the back of this. He's got to be looking for best. No, they're going to try to burst down Pern really fast in this one. He's going to ult, not going to find anything. Moving Age is going to try to take himself back. That doesn't matter. BronxBombers wants the revenge for that attempted gank on the left side. Kraken comes out. Best does fall, though. Doesn't matter. Not enough to disrupt that death for him. Meerkat's going to fall as well. They're now looking really, really good in this one. Now a Phoenix basically guaranteed as long as they don't get wiped somehow, and it's just Aror remaining. And he's got 35 seconds before his next best friend comes up in Pern. But Best, Cabom, and Meerkat all 50 seconds on the bench. Certainly a Phoenix, probably 2 now. Or a mass recall. Fire Giant, maybe? Something, boys. Get something. They're down for a minute.
You know, you questioned it during the play-by-play, Bart, but I actually really enjoy the target prioritization of djpernicus.
Okay.
He had the ultimate at that point in time, which means he has the ability to take a player literally out of the fight.
Sure.
Not figuratively by dealing damage, but actually bring them into the sky, meaning they can't do anything. Pern can, of course, ult somebody for damage, but he can also choose to ult Shadowq or Macetodaface for control, taking that factor out of the fight. He's easier to kill. He's really not built that tanky. As you see, all he really has the mail renewal, so he's easier to kill in that regard. We saw just how much damage that the ring toss was able to do. It reduces protections, it slows, it impacts the fight so much.
Right.
Taking out the Najah early in the team fight, I like that decision coming out from Denial. I'm not going to say that's
Fair
why
enough.
they won the team fight, but huge decision making, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, the team fight was a little bit awkward, though.
Oh, yeah.
So Denial basically they go for a calculated risk there. Instead of having BronxBombers push and get a guaranteed tier 2 and taking 2 tier 2s in that engagement, right? No way they stop him from taking the one on the left side, and no way they prevent them from securing that like 2-shot one on the right side. Instead, they'll take the Fire Giant, right? The riskier play. They'll like, let's see if we can win a fight on the right side of the map. Pern forced to heal himself back up, but he's dead to rights to Whalrus here as the Athena ultimate comes in. Over the top, the taunt. No, can they finally find him? There we go. We'll get him with the bludgeon there. And there's the final tier 2 going to fall here as well. But right, they take the risk. They go, let's try to bait a fight over here. We'll rotate the Apollo over instead of guaranteeing ourselves another tier 2. And it works out in their favor, and it should and could very well be the game here. I don't see Cog successfully holding this one now because they just don't really have the tools. Kraken just barely back online now, but Best already exploded, and he's going to go down to the Serqet.
Oh, wow.
No, Sikandara.
Whalrus able to pick up
They'll just give it to Whalrus. Yeah, I mean, it's actually a pretty nice call to say, just bail out. We have it confirmed here, and live to fight another day, old Serqet. Second Phoenix going to fall here in just a moment. Titan, he's taking his first couple shots, down to about 9,500 HP as the Phoenixes continue to fall. Down again goes Aror in Denial. Looking all but confirmed to take this. Pern, he'll be back up in just a few seconds. Titan starting to fall. No one really committing to it just yet. Shadowq's going to turn in again. Here comes Pern right now. And he goes. Macetodaface gets that credit for the kill on Cabom, and that's that. Titan falls. Nile 1-1 against Cognitive Gaming. And I think if you would have looked at this one from afar and been forced to call it, I think the 1-1 is the right call. I would say betting odds on this one would have been like a 3-2. It's a very, very close game. Hard to call. And it does go 1-1. Like we said, that's not really a big win, though, for Denial, unfortunately. They kind of needed a 2-0 there to really have a feel confident, I think, going into the last few weeks of play and trying to move in that 6th place position over, well, Cog.
Yeah,
this was First Blood. Yeah. I mean, I would have loved to see how this one actually started, but I know how it ends.
the hammer
I guess it's just poke down into walk down.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I've done a lot of replays, Bart, and a lot of watching a lot of the solo kills in the solo lane, and you sit there and that winds up being the clip because it's a minute of poke.
Right, yeah. There's no real lead up to it.
It's like, all right, we've got the first
poke on
blood.
poke on poke on poke on poke.
You know, it's just poke, some minion damage, a flail, some poke, and then all of a sudden,
And then
got it.
oh yeah, his melee minion died, and the archer started hitting him, and then just went. Yeah, that's usually what it comes down to the soul lane. Those
It's
damn
the long
pesky
exchange.
archers. We have a player of the game this game. Do you want to guess who it is, Tom?
Let's see. Denial 1. I will say Mace to the face.
Is it Mace to the face? Show me Mace to the face. Hey! 10-0-13 as Agni mid lane. Haven't seen a performance like that on Agni in quite some time. I'll wager to say that is the highest fantasy point performance on Agni all split, coming out of a pretty well-known Agni player, I'd say, here as well. Mace to the face, once known for basically being the only player in the world to play Isis.
Outside of Sayo.
Yeah, Sai doesn't count.
Never forget Sayo.
They weren't playing.
Counts,
They weren't playing at the same time, really, when Isis was super popular for Mace to the face. And yeah, this Agni performance is really, really exceptional. I mean, he had a huge impact on this game. Obviously, outside of the 10-0 and 13, that being pretty clear. But
you know, it's interesting. I am just like flabbergasted. 10-0. I knew he had a great game. Can you do that again?
I was my flabbergasted for you.
Just
I only have one.
anyway. I knew he performed well. I saw the stuns. I saw the damage. I wasn't paying attention to the slashlight over time. 10-0.
Yeah, I didn't expect that honestly either.
Wow.
23 kills as well. He's involved in there.
Great performance coming out from Mace to the face. So fantastic stuff. I mean, large kill participation as well. There wasn't that many more kills than that on the entire squad. Great stuff.
How did everyone do in the fantasy points department? Let's take a look at Alpha Draft's top performers. For this, our final game broadcast today, Mace to the face, obviously with the near 60-point performance there. Sikandara putting up 52 on his Serqet, so we threw a little shade his way, saying, can he do it? And yeah, he was worthy of the first pick, I'd say.
Excellent.
BronxBombers at 43. Whalrus right behind him, also at 43. And old Shadowq there, living the life of the support, 37.6. But still, not a bad amount of points for support.
Yeah, I think Sikandara is going to fit in very well to the squad. I think the sort of these two games and last week's games were his warm-up time. I think we'll still see.
Although his picture looks like he's like terrified.
But I think he's going to fit in well with this team, and I think we'll see good stuff.
Well, we do have a player joining us, of course, and it is the one and only Whalrus. Whalrus, my friend, how are you?
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
All right, thanks for joining us right now. So, Denial, you do take a game away from Cognitive there, and we were kind of talking about it. It's a really, really important game to take because now, looking forward to your next couple of matches, I mean, you guys have got to be, you're trying to come together and basically make it in that 6th place spot into LAN. So, can you talk a little bit about what you guys have ahead of you, how you're going to prepare for it, and what it meant to win, take a game away from Cog?
It was really important that we 2-0 them there, but we couldn't pull through. I'm going to blame on our first game, picks and bans. But I feel like we have to 2-0 pretty much every other team that comes up after this, and maybe get lucky with a few top teams. I think playing AFK again would be wrong.
So you guys just welcomed Sikandara to the team. Did you guys really know him beforehand? And how did you go about adding him to the team? And now that he's on the team, how is he really helping you guys out?
It kind of happened between, like, wrong chemistry between me and Shing. It was either he stays on the team or I stay on the team. We tried out Sikandara, also known as Homie Fee, and we liked him more, so we stayed with him.
Well, there you go, yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, that's about as simple as it gets, right? So, Whalrus, I mean, looking forward to the rest of this split and kind of understanding the tough road ahead of you. I mean, do you guys have, like, I mean, so who's calling the shots? Is it indeed Shadowq? That's kind of what we were talking about a little bit, is like, you have such, you have this kind of mix of like really, really tenured experienced players and then like a few new players tossed into the mix. What are the comms like? Who's kind of leading the charge, and what's the dynamic in the game?
Shadowq has a big brain.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Fair enough. So I guess it is Shadowq calling the shots there.
Yeah, Shadowq really bringing it out. Well, before we let you go, Whalrus, anything you want to say to the guys at home, or friends, family, or enemies?
Shoutouts to my team and shoutouts to the troops overseas.
All right, fair enough.
Excellent.
Indeed. You can find Whalrus at Whalrus_ on Twitter, at Whalrus_ on Twitch as well. Sure to go check him out, guys, and thanks very much for joining us as well. Congratulations to Denial, taking one game away from Cog. Congratulations to you for winning a game as well today. That does it for our game coverage today. Let's wrap things up with a quick look at the schedule. I'm sorry, at the standings. We'll go to the schedule here in just a moment. And you'll see that Cognitive and Denial, they don't switch positions. They each kind of move up one game and one loss, putting Cog a bit closer to enemy, and Denial, well, the same distance from Cog.
Yeah, pretty much no real shake-up here on the North American side of things, except for the fact, if you're just joining us, you don't know who Envious is, that's AFK. They just switched teams
my.
earlier in the week, so we'll take a look at how they go on. And they'll be playing later on this week. We'll take a look at the schedule and see just when you'll be able to check out Envy play.
Well, we just wrapped up October 9th here with COG versus Denial, moving into Saturday and Sunday's games. Dignitas Paradigm, London Conspiracy, and Fnatic out of Europe. Enemy TSM, and our game of the week is Eager and Cloud9 at the end of the day on Saturday. Moving into Sunday, Fnatic Myrmidons, Justice versus Epsilon out of Europe. And then it's Cloud9 COG and Elevate Denial to end out the week in week number 8. And there it is, the match of the week graphic, as we just said. Team Eager 14-6, Cloud9 looking to improve from their 10-8. Couple of North American powerhouses, a little bit of, won't say bad blood, but certainly medium blood as Omega went over from one team to the other there. They seem to get along okay, though. There's some shots fired here and there.
A little bit. There's definitely, it's not just Smite going on in that game, so it's going to be a very exciting one. Make sure to tune in for that one. Now, I said Envy plays later on this week. They don't play later on this SPL week, but they might play Thursday or Friday in week 9. You'll never know.
They could. You'll find out when the schedules come out, guys. Thanks for joining us here today. This has been Tom. I've been Bart. Adonis was on the desk earlier. Hinduman and Brandon had the day off. We'll see you guys starting tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is roughly several hours from now. We'll see you then. Love you. Bye.
Saga begins. Begin war.